ready?
I
All
think
right.
so.
Call the meeting to order. Jen, do you want to do roll call, please?
Commissioner Delzer?
Here.
Commissioner Erickson?
Here.
Commissioner Waldner?
Here.
Commissioner Abraham?
Here.
Mayor Lindsay?
Present. Okay. Attached, you have the July 22nd minutes. Are there any additions or corrections?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of July 22nd as presented.
Second.
Here we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Attached here, we also have the agenda minutes for tonight. Any additions, corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve the July 29th agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Appearances, acknowledgements, and correspondence. We have attached the June investment report, the gross salaries, and bills for ratification. You've had that to read. Any questions or comments?
Make a motion to acknowledge the June investment report, gross salaries and bills ratification. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no old business, we'll move on to new business. And Aaron is here with the Wellness Studio Agreement from the Community Center. So with that,
Thanks, Mayor Lindsay, Commissioners, for giving me time to present this information. Jen included in your package an agreement, which essentially would allow the community center to come in and start utilizing the room right above us, the dance, or the old dance studio, that's on the second floor of the building. And what we would utilize the facility as, we do some minor renovations to it and make it ready to be able to basically provide what we're calling a community center wellness studio. Basically a satellite facility that would be access to people maybe living and working in the downtown area. The facility would be set up so it has 24-hour access capability, which essentially means members or users would come in and swipe a card and gain access to the facility any time of the day, except for obviously during city commission meetings. And ultimately, our desire to do this, is kind of two goals. Number one, we want to be able to expand our wellness area, especially during busy times from 3 to 6 p.m., where we've really crowded the downstairs facility here with our gymnasiums, especially with our youth activities going on. And then the upstairs area is a very busy time at that time as well, from 3 to 6 during the winter months. So allow us to expand and be able to provide some additional equipment, some offerings and services outside of those times. And then number two, provide 24-hour access capability. In a survey that we done in 2007, the feedback that we got was by 25% of the respondents, wanted us to look at 24-hour access capability. That was in 2007. We just did another survey in 2013 in preparation for a board retreat that we had last week. And on that survey, we had 44% of respondents indicated that they would like this, capability. And we also feel that, we'll be able to accomplish this objective as well, providing, access to, an employee who's working a third shift at Gale, maybe somebody, working late downtown or during off hours, they'll come up, provide access to having a wellness facility available to them at, essentially any time of day, any day of the year. So that's what we would do with this, if this agreement was approved. One of the, I think, big positives of this, the renovation cost for us to utilize that room is very minimal. Essentially what we would need to do is put some safety equipment in there, an AED, also a safety kind of emergency alert telephone. Outside of that, you would have we would do additions to the camera system that's already in place at City Hall, so it'd be complete monitoring of the facility anytime anyone's going in. And then ultimately an access system to control the front door entrance. And then some minor renovations, some touch-ups, some paint, some stuff like that. So renovation cost is very minor, and that's kind of one of the big positives that we see behind this project. We don't have to invest a large ton of upfront capital or upfront costs to be able to provide these offerings to our members. And also I included in the sheet too, just kind of our wellness studio agreement that we'd have members kind of sign and agree to. And also just kind of a proposal of how our community center governing board and myself are looking at operating the facility, as for an informational purpose. If you had any chance to look through those, if you had any questions on them, you'd like to be more than happy to give information or feedback on them.
Aaron, I have one question. Are you going to have a sign-in sheet and that, and with times and that, so you can kind of track and see, how many people and what time of the day, and just to find out if the 24 hours is what they're working at?
Correct, yep. The door entry system, a user would have a key fob. When they swipe that key fob, basically our door entry system would capture at that time the person that was checking in, what time they were checking in, and then we release that door. So our computer system that's running
Very
that
good.
door would capture all that information
Sure.
for us.
Yeah. That way you get an idea of, utilization and time of utilization and,
Correct, yeah.
Okay, very good.
Because also for insurance purposes, we need to know who's using the facility at what times. And then also, because a lot of our users do get reimbursement for visits to the community center or wellness visits through their insurance programs or through their employer. So we would have to have that capability as well.
very good.
You don't have a couple of the documents that Aaron referenced, I'll send them to you right now, but there's a couple other
Oh.
documents, the membership. What are the other two?
The operations proposal, which is Community Center Wellness Studio. I've got one here, I'll pass it around. And the proposal just kind of outlines how we would operate the facility. Essentially, what we're looking at doing is basically including as part of your membership package to the community center. We wouldn't run it as a separate facility where you pay membership dues to belong to it, much like you do the community center. Essentially, users, members of the community center would buy a key fob, which would be a one-time purchase of $25, and then they would always have access to the facility through their key fob as long as it stayed active. If for some reason the key fob ever was deactivated, then they would have to repurchase to reactivate their key fob. So we'd be looking at offering as a member benefit versus more of as a totally separate entity.
Are you also looking at, like having other classes, like wellness classes at this location then too, or?
For the most part, it'd just be, all that would be in the room is cardiovascular equipment.
Okay.
There wouldn't be any free weight equipment, so nothing would be getting dropped. It'd just mainly be cardiovascular equipment, which unfortunately, we wouldn't have enough room to offer separate classes by the time we got the cardio equipment lined up. And our equipment, right now, we've got probably about 4 to 5 pieces of equipment in storage right now, which they've kind of seen their life expire at the community center, and we've changed them out. They're still good pieces of equipment, they can be used. Typically in the past, we've always just traded them out when we purchased new equipment. I've kept these pieces of equipment in anticipation of opening this, so as equipment kind of expires at the community center, we transfer down here, where they would still get used, but they wouldn't get used at the rate that they would at the center. So, and that's another nice thing too, we would purchase a couple of new pieces of equipment to put in the room once we open it, but ultimately to kind of, it'd be almost a feeder system of equipment from the room and go from the community center up to the studio here, and then once it expired at the studio, then it would get traded out to our expired out.
Any other questions of Aaron?
On the fobs, Aaron, I'm just looking at some of your costs. Is that going to be back in a membership that the community center is going to absorb, or is
They would pay on top of their membership. So
to
if someone
have
came in-
access to this?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So if someone came in and purchased a membership, and they wanted access to it, they'd pay that extra $25 fee to purchase the key
Okay,
fob.
maybe I missed that, but all right. And then you're not going to start until you have the key system operational, is that right?
Correct,
So it's
yeah.
going to be secure all the time until,
Yep.
okay.
That's correct.
I noticed, I read the agreement, I didn't see any termination provisions, not that we're interested in terminating it, but would your anticipation be that it would be terminable on reasonable notice?
We probably.
If it didn't work out for you guys, you'll let us know, and if it's
Second
not working
line.
out.
Yeah, we probably.
Is it on the second line?
Agreement, yeah.
We labeled
Oh,
it
okay,
probably
all right, thank you.
with the expiration date.
I'd run down through the agreement, didn't see that. Thank you very much, Jen. That's fine, yep. I think that's all I had. Okay,
And I think, just to be absolute clear, is that that $25 is a one-time fee, and there's not an additional monthly fee for a community center member to also utilize it.
Until I wash my key fob and then another $20.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be about every other month for you and I.
That's,
It'll be a
that's
May
correct.
tag then.
Yeah.
But with that too, the agreement that a person signs when they purchase key fob does have some provisions in there, so if our governing board felt we need to do some upgrades, whatever that is to that room, they could attach a monthly fee or additional fee, so there are some provisions in there to where, like I said, if there was some substantial work that we felt needed to be done, and we needed funding for that, it could be paid by the users of the room.
Sure.
And Dave's not here tonight, but he's had a chance to overlook all these documents too as well. Our proposal on how to operate this wellness studio agreement that we have members sign. He's looked at it, all that, made recommendations and changes, and has approved them all as well.
Very good.
Well, I would make a motion then to authorize the mayor to sign the wellness studio agreement with the community center.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Our goal is to have the room up and operating, it's probably a little closer than what we expect, with September 1st, but hopefully sometime, in the month of September is kind of our goal, so, and you'll certainly be aware of when that date approaches, so, but thank you guys.
Very good. Thank you. We also have attached a permit to occupy the right-of-way by SDN Communications, and I'll ask Chad, do you want to give a little brief overview on this?
Sure, I can. Thank you, Your Honor. Basically, SDN had contacted me when they don't have a franchise agreement with the city, and so when they want to install something in the right-of-way, we usually use a document such as this, where they show where they're going to be located, and then sign the form, and then we file that, and then there's some conditions that we incorporate with that. It's been relatively routine with their expanded service, and so I don't see any concerns about proceeding with authorizing them to occupy the right-of-way as they've requested.
Okay.
I'll move that the permit to occupy right-of-way with STN Communications be granted, and that the mayor be authorized to execute the same.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. We also have attached in that letters of support for the Lewis and Clark Water System funding. Again, I'll ask Chad if he has any words he'd like to add.
Thank you, Your Honor. There's a couple letters that were included in the packet. I have current ones with today's date or tomorrow's date, when we anticipate they'll be sent, provided all the commissioners and the commission decides to sign these. Just reiterating to the president and the leaders in select committees in the House and the Senate, U.S. House and U.S. Senate, of the position that they're putting us in. It's not a good situation. Some members that are not connected are in dire need of water, and are pushing to try to find solutions to getting this accomplished, this project complete. Other members who are connected are paying additional costs for their water rates that would be unnecessary if all the members were connected. We also believe, from the letters as they state, we've all prepaid, all the members with the exception of one who is in the process of nearly being prepaid, the 20 members and the 3 states. It's been, we believe it's been fully vetted, the project, and it shouldn't be in what's Congress's earmark ban that they've enacted. That it doesn't make any sense. It's infrastructure. It's a high priority, and it's sort of a no-brainer. It should be a top priority for all, the House, the Senate, and the President. But despite that, there are fiscal woes going on. We just trying to reiterate that if there is any priority item that should be spent on it, it should be infrastructure and projects like Lewis and Clark. And so, in a nutshell, that's what this is saying. You know, we've signed and submitted letters similar to this in the past, and so I fully request that the commission members sign these letters, and we'll send them off, and then I'll also share them with the Lewis and Clark board as well.
And then it'd be also nice to send a copy out to the governor's office and that too, so that they're aware that Minnesota and Iowa legislatures are looking at maybe assisting those two states as well.
We'll do that.
Any questions or comments? Do you have a motion?
So I'll make a motion that we sign these letters of support for the Lewis and Clark Regional Water System funding, and get them sent.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Sidewalk installation deadline extension requests. And those requests are here. Again, I'll ask Chad if he has any words that he'd like to add to those.
Thank you, Your Honor. This item addressed the sidewalk assessment project, I'll call it that, where there's two routes that were selected to have landowners install sidewalk this year from West Avenue, from Second Street North to First Street South, and then also from on First Street Southwest from Chicago Avenue out to the west city limits there. And there are a number of landowners who don't have that in for various reasons. And they've submitted applications here for an extension so that they would have time to put this in the upcoming weeks. And so we reviewed these. All the landowners are accounted for. Either they have had installed their sidewalk, or they have a sidewalk permit, or they have a request here, with the exception of 3. We've tried extensively to reach out to them, contact them, to give us one indication one way or another if they would like, our contractor to do it, if they have a contractor lined up, if they want to do it themselves, but we haven't. So, and we'll continue to do so, but what we'll probably do as our contract, as you may know, we have a contractor lined up to do this work, and we need to have him do this while he's in town, and so we will, as he's approaching completion, if we still haven't heard from this, we'll just have him do those, and they'll go through the normal assessment process. There's been also several landowners who simply just said, have your contractor do it, and then go through that process as well. So, I would recommend that we offer this extension, and maybe consideration could be given until the end of August.
Okay, when we discuss this as a motion, then are you suggesting in that we put a date in the motion? That's my question.
I think it would be beneficial. Last year was the first year where we offered an extension, and even after the deadline that you may choose to set here, we still work with people, and try to be flexible and work with them and have them. And they may be a week or two after that if the contractor is just rain delays or this and that. But last year we had an instance where it didn't get put in this year. Granted, the contractor came in right away in the spring, but that sort of puts us in an awkward situation, and we prefer that it be done as the commission originally intended, when they passed the resolution, to have it done in that particular year. So I think it would be appropriate. However, if the commission would wish to not have a deadline in there, I don't think I would have a big problem with that either. But I think August 1st would be fair. Most of these in here indicated that they should be able to be done by the end of August. So that's why I selected.
There's one in here that the last sentence says, "This day has not yet been set." And so that was where my question was. I'm just wondering if 30 days is going to be too soon for that request, or
you know, we can continue, we've had a good dialogue with that particular party.
Okay.
And we can continue, you know, if we set it as an August 30th, because our contract will likely be here until, depending how quickly he goes, middle of September or so, so we probably could still catch.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Make a motion to approve the sidewalk installation deadline extension to September 1st.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And attached, we also have some personnel items in that are part of your packet. Entertain any discussion or motion?
I'll move to approve the personnel as submitted.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no other announcements and other business, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Hey, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Very good.